From Tally to Cali,
It's time
to wake up.
Wake up! Wake up!
Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
One more corner pocket.
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan
And Corey Clark.
Wake up! What is up, everybody? It's Wake Up Warchant, presented by the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Coming up on today's show, some encouraging news on injuries, the fourth down philosophy of Mike Norvell in Florida State, and the rotations going on the defensive line. Will it sort itself out? Wake Up Warchant, presented by the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, Tallahassee, Florida, 2475 Appalachia Parkway, cptallybar.com, the website. Trivia later tonight, 7 o'clock. Before that, come on out. Enjoy your lunch. All day long, lunch special. Taco Tuesday. Soft shell, hard shell, beef, chicken, your choice. At the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Do it, y'all. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe, 5-star rating and review. We certainly would appreciate it. Corey Clark's here, everybody. What up, Corey Clark?
What's up, A-Dog? How you doing? You doing all right? You living?
Yeah, man. I mixed in. I got a new gym I go to. So I go to the Anytime Fitness over in Midtown. And it was good on a Monday. It was nice and quiet. I could get my workout in. They got some specialty bars. I was able to bench press for the first time in a long time. So feel good. I feel alive, man. What about yourself?
Okay,
How's your fitness journey been?
It's going well, man. It's going well. I just passed the 250 mark at Orange Theory I joined like October of last year.
What does that mean, the 250 mark?
Like I have my 250th class.
Oh, wow. That's expensive. Sounds like.
Well, yeah, I did the monthly, basically, no limit, unlimited, but it is not cheap. But you know what? You shouldn't be cheap when it comes to your personal health, everyone. That's kind of what this show is morphing into.
Yes. It's
not going to be Wake Up Warchant anymore. We're just going to be trying to get you guys in shape.
Yeah.
We're going to be your daily motivators. You're good enough and you're smart enough. You got money. Or if you don't, just go find some logs and lift them.
Yeah,
it's
like
pretty
Rocky.
easy, pretty simple.
Yeah. Some would say health is wealth, Corey.
I've never heard that, but it sounds like a pretty cool saying.
Yeah. Should we talk about the Monday presser or this graphic that's staring me in the face that we created here with ESPN disrespect?
Yeah, that isn't. You don't want
to warm up before headlines? I'm sure you guys are going to talk about this on headlines. It's good enough for headlines, not good enough for us.
I wouldn't think so. I don't think we're going to broach that subject, honestly.
Okay, that's crazy. If everybody goes undefeated, you guys saw it on the television broadcast during the Duke game. I did not. Just saw it later on Monday, so I apologize. But anyhow,
well, it's a dumb. I guess the graphic was if Florida State would be the odd team out if five teams went undefeated, meaning the winner of the Big Ten, Pac-12, which would be Washington,
yeah.
Oklahoma,
and Georgia.
Yeah. Florida. If all those teams won, Florida State would be the odd team out. To which I'd say, let's cross that bridge when we get there, gang. What are the odds? When was the last time there were 5 undefeated teams in this country? I mean, was Obama in office?
Jeez.
Was Clinton? Like, when was the last time that happened?
William Henry Harrison?
Yeah, so I'm not pulling my hair out, no pun intended. About. I guess that's not really a pun intended because
self-deprecating
really
humor.
Sense. Yeah. But no, look, well, again, cross that bridge when you get there. It's dumb. I don't agree, but what difference does it make in the middle of October?
I take umbrage with Oklahoma having a 100%. They got a better shot than Georgia of making the playoff if they both go undefeated. That is beyond comprehension.
I think that does not make any sense, but I think it's because you'd play Texas twice and you'd beat Texas twice and the computers really like Texas, but again, we'll see.
All right. Monday, we spoke to the coaches, head football coach Mike Norvell and the coordinators. Kind of reflected on the Duke game, looked a little bit ahead to Wake. We don't know right now what Wake's plans are at quarterback. We'll probably find out later today. I think our guy Clausen does his presser on Tuesdays, but he'll probably keep it close to vest, which I get it for him. Like when we don't talk about the availability of Destin Hill, I'm like, Although we did get some injury updates. Let's talk about that probably before we get into the nitty-gritty of things. Sounded like Destin Hill did some stuff on Sunday through their walkthrough. And then I thought you phrased the question I don't even think you phrased it any way that could be taken other than like, what's the latest? But Johnny Wilson, rumors of demise, perhaps greatly exaggerated. At least it seemed that way with the way Mike Norvell responded when asked about him.
Well, look, he said, I basically said, I don't know how I phrased it. I could actually read it. Oh, here it is right here. I have it on my computer because they do the transcriptions, gang.
Oh, do they?
For the Monday press conference. Just Norvell, not the coordinators. But I say, do you foresee Destin and Johnny being available this week or anytime soon? If not, maybe talk about the receivers that have to step in, and then, the depth they have in the wide receiver room. And again, you guys know the drill. We're allowed to watch practice. We're not allowed to talk about injuries. But you guys all saw that Destin Hill did not play. So his injury is now public knowledge. Mm-hmm. Plus, we all saw Johnny and him get hurt in that game. So that's public knowledge as well. So we can ask about those injuries. And his response was, I can tell you Johnny was in a really good place yesterday coming out of the game. Destin got more work yesterday in practice than what he did in the previous week. Excited to see kind of where those guys go as the week progresses. So, look, there was a part of me on Saturday night where I'm like, I wonder if on Monday there's an update that, like, we'll see Johnny in December. You know what I mean? Like, just, and again, pure speculation, but you never know with certain injuries. The timetable, how quickly guys can come back, especially in this day and age. But it certainly sounded like, I would be stunned if he plays this week.
Agreed.
But I don't know, man. Maybe Pitt. Certainly, it with him saying he's in a good place. And then he also said later on, he said, I'm excited about what that group is, talking about the receivers. And hopefully we have Destin and Johnny rolling here this week because it keeps us at full strength. So he's throwing out, and he does that a lot. He doesn't speak in specifics. Just because he wants to have them rolling this week doesn't mean they will be. But it's certainly not. Hopefully we get him back when Darrell Jackson's eligible. It sounded like Johnny Wilson could be back sooner than maybe even I thought, which is really good news because you're going to be playing some teams that you're going to need that dude converting first downs for you. And scoring touchdowns for you. And, so hopefully he'll be back in time for the big boys.
Yeah. I found a 34-page document about Florida State's protocols for head injuries. I need to dive into it and get
and here's the thing, though. Not every – and, again, I'm not a doctor. I know you guys think I am. Quit calling me Dr. Clark. It's getting annoying just because I carry myself like a doctor, like just an astute – medical expert. Yeah. But not every head injury is a concussion, is it? I mean, and again, I don't even feel comfortable talking about this. Right. But you just don't know. You don't know the extent of something. Like I'm not diminishing what happened on the football field. I'm not diminishing what happened on Saturday night. But if I stand up and kind of wobble and get a little woozy because I stood up too fast, that's not a concussion. It's completely different when your head hits the ground like his did, granted.
And you get up and you start backtracking. Yes.
But I think, I don't know if that just means, okay, that's an automatic concussion, you're out for a week or 2 weeks or whatever. Right. And some people come back much quicker. Like, there is a protocol, but it's not set for every person. Not every person has the same protocol when it comes to concussion because all brains are different. And, again, we don't know for sure this was a concussion. Certainly looked like one, or certainly looked like he was woozy. We can agree with that, folks. He was woozy. He tried to stand up, kind of fell back down, slumped back down. So, again, we'll see how it goes. But, it's obviously something you don't mess with. He's got hopefully a very long football career, and this is just a blip and not something that obviously follows him around. This is just a couple of freak incidents. And that's all it is. But you hope that he can come back, not just for your team, which is much better with Johnny Wilson at wide receiver, in my opinion, but for him. I mean, it's probably his last year of college football. He's on a really good team. He's a really good player. He wants to play in these games too.
Yeah. Basically says within 72 hours of sustaining an injury, they will undergo a clinical evaluation by the team physician and/or a designee. So they can do either any or all the following. There's these bunch of tests they can do. So we'll film practice, those opening periods. Maybe we'll focus on what's going on with the receivers, and you can see who's there and who's not. I should probably do the stretch line, but I just, filming the stretch line is like watching, Ohio State play Penn State,
Right.
Not all that great. Nonetheless, though, lots of satisfaction, gratitude displayed by Coach Norvell for that classic Saturday night Doak crowd when he talked about the win over Duke. Point out the fact that was a good team, so good quality win, I guess you could say. Anything else kind of catch your ear from what Norvell said in his statements on Monday?
Well, yeah, and I wrote about it. It should be on the website now. Yeah, I know it will be when people are listening to this. I wrote a long column, but not really. It was more like quoting him and explaining his rationale for the fourth down decisions, specifically the one in the first quarter when it was
on their side, negative side of the
field.
Yeah,
when it was at the 36-yard line.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just watching this play in the Diamondbacks-Phillies game, and that's just the worst base running I've ever seen. But whatever. Evan Longoria, you probably need to score on that. But
will there be an American League champion by the time people are watching and listening to this?
Yeah, it's a Game 7 they'll be playing
Monday
as
night?
we're done recording this. Probably will be a National League champion too, although the Phillies are down right now. So when he talked about maximizing possessions, and you and I talked about this in August. Like, what was his fourth down math going to be? Because you don't get a lot of offenses like this in your career. And you really don't, like, when you look at it just statistically, if you're an offense that averages 7 yards a play and it's 4th and 1 at your 36, well, it kind of almost seems cowardly to punt it in that spot. So I understand his philosophy. Like, they had the ball 4 times in the second half, Aslan. I think they had 10 possessions in the game. You don't want to just give one of those possessions away because you got a yard, you came up a yard short on third down. Like, you don't have to punt. And when possessions are when possessions are
at a premium,
yes, that's what I wanted to say. Golly. You want to use them up. You don't want to punt. But I counter that in the column basically saying, you also have to know, you have to think about the whole situation. Not every 4th and 1 is equal. In that instance, in that game, I know that Duke had just scored on you. But they don't have a good offense. They certainly don't have an offense you fear. They're not going to light up the scoreboard. Number one, you have a good defense, but also their offense isn't very good, and their quarterback's hurt. I know they had just scored on you, but that was a freakish play where a hold wasn't called, and your cornerback took an angle that defies belief. That you got to think, okay, that won't happen again. So there's no need to really panic right there. If you punt the ball and I'm just doing the math in my head, if you punt the ball from the 36-yard line, let's say it's a normal Master Motto punt, so it's 45 yards. I can't do the math in my head. What would that be? So they get the ball at their own 19-yard line. Well, let's assume they get a 3-and-out, which is what they did. Now they're punting it back to you, and I know they had the best punter that's ever lived, but the odds are
Reggie Roby
unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's going to hit the portal. I mean, there's nobody that's ever punted in Doak better than that kid. Rod Stark included. That was, what he averaged, 55 yards a punt?
That was nuts, yeah.
So if he just hits one of his normal punts and Keon Coleman falls forward for a few yards, you're basically getting the ball back right where you had it. A few minutes later in the game, but with a fresh first down. And the risk is, if you go for it and don't get it, well, now you're on your 35-yard line. And so you gave them points. And also the other comment I made in the column that I didn't think about at the time, but it's true, is just if you get that first down, if you get that yard and get to the 37, well, it's not like you're in the red zone. You still got 45 yards to get in the red zone.
Yeah.
You still got a lot of work to do. There's a chance you'll be punting again a few moments later. I mean, I know you don't think like that as a play caller, especially when you have Jordan Travis as your quarterback, but that's something that can happen too. And I don't want him to coach scared. And I did think his rationale was strong enough that, look, man, we only get so many possessions in a game. We want to maximize them. It's 4th and 1. I believe in my offense to get 1 yard. And clear, if the quarterback had kept the ball on that play instead of handing it off, it's easily a first down. It might be 10 or 15 more yards, but he didn't. So I guess just moving forward, it's something to keep an eye on, because there will be other decisions. Clearly, there will be other 4th down decisions that Mike Norvell has to make. and against teams with better offenses, maybe on the road. Like how does he take all this into account and move forward, give his team a best chance to win in that moment? Just like the Syracuse game, I didn't think it made sense to go for it on fourth down just in that moment. If it was later in the game, it's 20-17 with 9 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, yeah, maybe. But just right there, I thought. But then again, his philosophy's true too. He's like, he said the numbers in that instance that early in the game are to go for it. The thinking being, okay, even if you screw up and that you don't get it, and they get some points out of it, you've still got more than 3 quarters to make it up. So maybe that is the time to go for it, is in the first quarter. I just thought it was a little, like I said yesterday, a little bit immature, and he was showing his frustration on the first fourth down not working, and then Morlock not being in bounds when he caught the pass that would have been a first down the play before.
Impetuous. I'd rather say impetuous than immature.
But it's also
judgy pants.
But maybe it isn't. Like I look at it through the lens of they were horrible on fourth down last year. One of the worst teams in the country on fourth downs last year, and then this year they started out the season 8 of 9 on fourth down, and they're now 0 for their last 5.
Dang, really?
Yeah, yep. I looked it up. They got their first one against Clemson, and then didn't pick up that one right before the end of the game where Keon was held and they didn't call it. They could have given them the field goal. And then they went 0 for 2 against Syracuse and 0 for 2 against Duke. So they're now 0 for 5 in their last fourth down.
No. I think they converted one against Virginia Tech because Virginia Tech had not surrendered one single fourth down conversion all year long.
Oh, yeah.
Noles
You
got
might
the
be
first
right.
one on
Sorry.
them,
Got to go change that line. Got to go change that line in my column, everyone. I forgot about the Virginia Tech game. I completely forgot it. But yeah, so I get it, right? Like if you're in a game, especially like you just don't want to wave the white flag and punt.
It's
when
the
you just
first
need a
quarter.
yard.
How are you waving the white flag, man?
Well, wave the white flag on that drive. Like, okay, we only got 9 yards instead of 10. We'll give you the ball back, and hopefully we'll get it back a few minutes later. But, every team this season, every single game they've played, I feel like the opponent has had a 7.5-minute or 8-minute drive. And you just don't know when you're going to get the ball back because of the new rules and because of your defense sometimes doesn't play its best players to start a drive, and teams get first downs. All of a sudden you've given them, 4 extra minutes with the ball. And you can get a little anxious when you have an offense like that sitting on the sidelines. And you don't want to just give up on the drive because you only need a yard. So I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth. I do like the aggression. But I will say this. I did first guess it. I did not like it in the moment.
You did.
I thought it was a dumb thing to do in the moment. Yeah. But I understand why he did it. It's just going to be interesting if he does it the next chance he gets.
Yeah, I was surprised by your first guessing reaction in the press box. I'm like, I thought this is your thing, Corey. Like, you're all about going for it. And then you're like, whoa, no. What is he doing? This is crazy. I'm like, well, make up your mind, man. But there's
another factor too, though, right, Aslan, is it's not like you were steamrolling them with the offensive line.
You were not. No.
So if you're going to call a play like you called, what have you seen from the first 12 to 15 plays of that game that makes you think Duke on 4th and 1, you're going to be able to push them aside to get a yard and a half?
Confidence in your team that we've seen in practice.
Yeah, but you coach to the game.
Yeah.
Duke's got a very good defense. They do. And they were doing pretty well against you in that moment. So that's all. That's all I would say there.
Somebody asked on the Smash, they're like, I love the aggression, but will there be a point where it costs us a game I don't think they didn't say this year, but will there be a time where it's going to cost us? Just by law of averages, living in reality, probably at some point it will burn them, but it feels like, again, to your point, like it's in the first quarter, analytics say go for it at that point because you have all this time to make it up. Like we haven't seen fourth quarter, fourth down decisions. Like those ones, so that's why I really can't get too passionate about. Go ahead.
I wonder what he would have done without the face mask against Toafili.
Oh, against Boston College? Yeah. No.
I think he probably punts it, but yikes. It would have been 4th and 2.5. He might have, because look, man, they converted a great 4th down earlier in that Boston College game that probably was going to put the game away, and then Coleman was called for a illegal downfield blocking or a hold or whatever it was.
Yeah.
That was a great call and a great decision. And also, we can say it cost them games, and I get it. It might. But this is how it always works. It's like in poker when you only remember the hands that the horrible losses, the horrible beats you have, and not the crazy suckouts you have on the river to get your straight or whatever. They went for it on fourth down against Clemson in the first half. If Travis doesn't get that, they go down and score after they pick that up. If they punt or don't pick it up there, they lose that game. And I'm sure there's other instances. I assume they went for a fourth down against LSU. I don't remember. But there are a lot of instances where they go for, not a lot, but there have been a few instances this year where they've gone for it on fourth down. They've gotten it, and it's led to a touchdown. So we have to remember that too. It's not all we can't just remember the times it doesn't work. We should also remember the times it does work too. It's just, again, that was the first time I feel like he had done it from his own 36.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get to. Just like, this is your head coach, everybody. For better or worse, and it's mostly been for better. So it just, because there's no telling that if they would play the conservative Jimbo route, which I grew up watching this, like, all right, it's fourth down, like you punt the football. That's just what you do. There's no telling that, they're going to get a stop on it. So it's really hard to kind of, play the reverse, armchair quarterbacking of this all. But Florida State was 1 for 1 on fourth downs against LSU. I don't remember when it happened, but that's what the stats say.
Either. Yeah. All right.
So, but yeah, I mean, that's what he does. And that's why I don't even talk about Lane anymore, because Lane is disgusting when it comes to fourth downs. Lane Kiffin will go for 4th and 5 in the first quarter on his own 20, just without impunity. It's ridiculous.
Well, and Lane coaches without a defense. It's different.
True. Yeah.
You know what I mean? He kind of needs to, because he knows his defense isn't going to get a ton of stops against a capable offense. Norvell doesn't have that problem. Norvell does have a good defense. So that is the difference. But, yeah, it's the modern age of football, man. I don't understand why the Eagles ever punt. If it's 4th and 2.5, the Philadelphia Eagles, just push Jalen Hurts 3 yards like you do every time you try it. Until they outlaw that rule, which they will in the offseason, go ahead and take advantage of that. But Florida State does not have one of those automatic plays, which is guaranteed to get them a yard, clearly, because they were 0 for 2 when they tried it on Saturday night.
I don't know if it was Jason Kelsey, but somebody, I think, from the Eagles was like, stop it. Like, if it worked, if anyone could do it, everybody would do it. But everybody can't. Like, we can. Stop. Leave us alone.
I think that what you would say in response to that, and if the people that don't know, I assume you do if you're watching this show, but the Eagles basically get Jalen Hurts behind center, get 2 big dudes right behind them. They snap it to Hurts, and the 2 dudes just push the pile forward with all their might. 3 guys, I guess, really, kind of push everything forward. But every offensive play that has ever been created, there has been a defensive answer for it. There isn't anything. Literally, what could you do? There's
Rex
nothing
Ryan,
you can
Rex
do.
Ryan swears that you can. Like, oh, it's all about playing with technique. You got to put your palms down, out. You got to get lower than the center. And it's like, well, good luck, man. Like,
because those two, you could get 2 450-pound defensive tackles and just try to plug that up, but they are still going to be pushed backwards by the 1,000 pounds coming at them.
Or he'll sidestep, right, and then go over a guard as opposed to going over a center.
Yeah, wherever he goes, that's where the guys behind him go to push him.
Yeah.
So there's literally nothing you can do to stop it. There's nothing you can do to stop it other than hope that they fumble the snap. So that's my issue with it, is that and it started early in that game on Sunday night, and then the Dolphins kind of cooled it. But the first couple of times, it's like, man, there's going to be a fight. Like they are going to make Jalen Hurts not want to do this anymore. They're going to start punching him in the face. And that's the only recourse the defense is going to have, is to start twisting stuff in the pile. Like, they're going to get tired of dealing with it. It's just like, okay, you want to do this? Well, while we're all under this mass of humanity, I'm going to gouge your eyes out. My bad, I was ripping at the ball. Like, you've got to do – they're going to leave him no recourse. I do think Tirico said it on the show that game. He thinks it'll be outlawed, but not because it's indefensible, but because of safety reasons. Because people are going to keep getting hurt. It's a mass of humanity. It's a bunch of – it's 3,000 pounds in that pile?
Dangerous, yeah. By the way, go ahead. Touchdown drive, third quarter, Florida State, 4th and 2, Jordan Travis complete to Lawrence Toafili.
Oh, how do we forget that one? Where was the ball, though, on that one?
The LSU 42-yard line.
It would have been fascinating to see if Jimbo punts right there.
Come on, be nice.
I know, literally, right? Like, that's not an automatic. It certainly wasn't an automatic 10 years ago. I think Jimbo with this offense and this quarterback would have. But 4th and 2 from the 42 is not an automatic go for. It's not a green light for Jimbo. But yeah, that was one of the plays of the game, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That was a great play. Yeah. It was an all-time great 4th down play. Start calling those again, Mike. We'd all be happier if you start calling the 4th down plays that work.
But in the meantime, we'll get happy by taking our Vitamin Energy Mood Plus. The Mood Plus makes you feel good. It makes you feel happy. It's clinically proven, clinically tested. VitaminEnergy.com. Promo code is Warchant BOGO. That's Warchant BOGO. All one word. It's not case sensitive. You can do it in all caps if you want. You can do it in all lowers. It doesn't matter. Just get to VitaminEnergy.com. Place your order. Any item of equal or lesser value, absolutely free. I know some people are like, oh, I couldn't get this one for free, and I've talked to our folks at Vitamin Energy. The promo code works, everybody. Y'all are just looking for attention from Corey and I. Figure it out. But no, we appreciate it. We're trying to get it figured out for you folks. But the Workout Plus taken on a Monday for me, probably even on a Tuesday. I try to get my box jump up. I try to get my box jump up one of these course. I've been stagnating at 42 inches for far too long. Which, by the way, somebody on Twitter thought that I said that I had a 42-inch vertical.
Which you do. We play basketball all the time. Aslan and I play pickup. And all I do is just throw those Dwayne Wade alley-oops to LeBron James and throw my hands up in the air. That was for you, Miami Heat fan.
Oh, we're in a great mood. Hope you're in a good mood today, everybody, too. Go to VitaminEnergy.com. Promo code WarChampBOGO. Energy with benefits. Shake it and take it. VitaminEnergy.com. All right, Corey. We spoke to Alex Atkins, spoke to Adam Fuller, John Papuchas. Man, we had 10 good minutes with John Papuchas. Hope everybody was able to inject that into their veins and learn some stuff. Alex Atkins. Actually, let's talk about Adam Fuller first, because you did mention this on the show Monday, and we kind of joked about, like, oh, you better ask him that. And you did get to ask him the question about rotating defensive line. They're seemingly paired up almost. It's like, it's Jared and Patrick, and both are either on the field or both are off the field. There's never one without the other. And apparently that was an astute observation by you, Corey. What else was Adam Fuller able to kind of shine light on when it comes to utilizing his defensive ends?
Well, that was, and he said, and I thought it when I was thinking about it, I'm like, man, I swear I've seen Burse out there with Edmond, and I've seen Payton out there with Turner. Like, I do feel like I've seen those combinations. It's not just rotate 2 on, rotate 2 off all the time. But he did say the last 2 games that's what they've been doing. He said that's not really the plan. It's just that they want Burse and Payton fresh for 3rd downs. So they will let the other 2 defensive ends, I guess, play the first couple of downs, and then if it's 3rd and 7, 3rd passing down, they'll run 11 and 5 out there, and they want to get them rest, and they want Edmond and Turner to play, and I completely understand it. I just think I don't know if there's another position, Aslan, and I was trying to think about this, where the disparity, maybe the receivers, you're starting 2 receivers and the guys behind them. Where I think the guys behind them are going to be good. It might be good, but Keon and Johnny are special. The disparity, between your starting defensive ends and your backup defensive ends. They're not the same type of player. No. It's not close, and I'm not trying to kill these guys. Edmonds, a solid-ish college football player. Byron Turner still has plenty of room to grow, and he might end up being awesome. He's not close to Jared Verse right now. And in that game, on Saturday night, what concerned me as I watched it is, okay, you're in a real game and you've got a chance, like starting out after you cut it to 17-14, I think you have a chance to kind of grab control of the game again, and you have your 2 defensive ends out there that aren't your best ones. And your defense had rested for the last 5 or 6 minutes. And we did the math, or PFF did the math for us, but there were 61 plays that Duke ran. Turner and Edmond were out there for 22 of them. Mm-hmm. Payton and Verse were out there for 39 of them. So that's like 65%. They were out there for 65% of the plays. I don't even know what I want that percentage to be, Aslan. 80? I don't know. No. 65 might be great. It might be perfect. It's probably smart. But I know it's frustrating when it seems like it seems like they'll get 2-3 first downs, and then you bring 5 and 11 in the game, because those guys are difference makers, man. I thought that was one of the best games Patrick Payton's ever played, and maybe it's because he only played 39 snaps. I don't know, It could be.
Graded out
but
really well, yeah.
He
7
was
pressures.
good.
God, he had 7 pressures? Good grief.
7 pressures out of 39 snaps, which I don't know. He probably had, 13 pass plays, 15 pass plays he was out there. I thought he was terrific.
15. He had 15 pass rush situations.
And he was pressured 7 times. Yeah, that's really good. And I guess I would like it more in the moment when you don't have a 2-score lead or even a lead at all. I guess I don't understand the rotating as much. The rotating where they're both off the field at the same time. Give me Verse and Edmond.
Yeah. And
then give me Turner Payton. I want one of my good defensive ends on the field because it's not an accident that they kept churning out some first downs and getting positive yardage when you had your 2, lesser defensive ends on the field. You got to get reps for them. You got to get reps for them. But in that game, that Duke offensive line was overmatching those 2 guys, just completely overmatching those 2 guys. And you kind of let it happen for a little bit. And then when to their credit, after the marathon 96-yard drive that took, I think Tom Lang timed it out on the TV copy. It took literally like 19 and a half minutes of real time. That drive, because it was the end of the quarter, there was an injury. It was a 19 and a half minute drive in real time. I would have maybe thrown my computer if after that touchdown to take a 4-point lead, you would have run out 54-19 onto the field. You know what I mean? And they didn't. They ran 5 and 11 on the field, and what do you know? 3 plays later, Duke is punting. You're getting the ball back. You go drive down the field and put the game away. So I don't know. I don't even know what the.
Well, two things. I wonder. First off, is it like a chicken or egg thing? Do they find themselves in, like you said earlier, these drives that are going 6-7 minutes? Are they finding that because they're not using Verse and Payton enough, or are they having to use Payton and Verse during these long 7-8 minute drives, and then they need to save them for later on in the game, and that's why they start rotating after that? And also, I mean, like, say you assign a point value to the talent of Jared Verse versus the talent of like a Byron Turner, let's say. Like, maybe you're just better off. Like, not necessarily I agree with this, but maybe you're better off Verse and Payton, like that stacked of a defensive end. You're better off doing that and then taking a bigger step back and going Edmond and Turner, as opposed to hanging out in the middle and pairing up one of your lesser guys with one of your elite guys. You know what I'm saying?
I guess, but then the counter to that is, if they're not out there at all, and now instead of a 15, you've got an 8. I think I'd rather have a constant 15 than an 8. And in that game, those defensive ends just weren't good. They graded out horribly. I didn't think they played well at all. I thought they were overmatched. Duke ran kind of at will when they were in the game. Again, I'm not trying to kill the kids. They've had some good moments, and they might end up being really good football players. And they've been a big part of this team, legitimately. I'm not blowing smoke, but in that game, it just wasn't their game. It wasn't their game to shine, and they're just not as good as Verse and Payton, and they have to do that math in their head of, okay, how much longer do we keep Payton and Verse off the field? And I get it. You don't want them to play every snap. They can't be Jermaine Johnson, but what they were doing in that game in particular is when Duke got around midfield is when they would run 5 and 11 back out there, which is great. But, okay, well, now you've let them have the ball for 3 minutes because they picked up 2 first downs and run 3 minutes off the clock. But also, even if you get the stop, they're going to punch you inside your 15 and the field position is flipped. So I'm interested moving forward what they'll do when it comes to this rotation, because they don't, and the reason I bring it up is they don't do it with any other position. It's not like Conrad Hussey only plays with Kevin Noles.
Yeah.
And it's not like Malcolm Ray only plays with Fabian Lovett. They rotate all these other guys in mix and match, but with the defensive ends the last 2 games, it's been, let's put our second stringers in right now, and then when it gets tight, let's put our first stringers back in the game. And I think in that, when possessions are at a premium, a couple of 3 and outs right after a kickoff would be nice to get the offense the ball right back. And I would hope they do that on the road here. You just don't want to give these teams these next couple of weeks reason for life and optimism. You want them to feel 5 and 11 early. If you let's say the defense goes out and gets a 3 and out. They're going to be a little skittish because they know Jared Verse and Patrick Payton are coming, and they're going to throw a lot of quick passes. Maybe it probably doesn't work. You hope, because Wake's offense is not very good. By the way, Wake has given up more tackles for loss than anybody in the country. How about that stat? That's something. So your defensive line should have a field day if they play well, and they know that. So I guess let's say you go get a 3 and out, and then the offense goes and scores, and it's 7-0. Do not, in my opinion, again, I'm not a football coach, do not then, after your defense has played 5 plays, go run out your worst defensive ends. Because what if they hit a big play? What if they get the edge and hit a 30-yard run? Or you don't have any pressure on the quarterback, and he completes a couple passes and starts to get into a rhythm. Don't give them that opportunity. Try to step on their throats early and see if you can rattle him early where he can't gain any confidence and come back from it. Don't give him a freebie of, okay, well, now 54 and 19 are in the game, so I'm going to have a little more time in the pocket. I can develop a little more. I'm not going to feel as rushed. So that's all. But again, I'm talking about a team that's 7-0 has won 13 games in a row. So I need to shut up. They're doing just fine. They're doing just fine without any help from Corey Clark. I'm here to fix video boards, and I'm here to fix you guys' lives by getting in shape. This is, again, it's going to become a fitness podcast very soon. So I'm just trying to squeeze the last life out of football that I can.
I forgot there was something at the tailgate somebody was telling you they had umbrage with, not at the tailgate itself, but with the stadium experience. And they're like, this has to be next on your list. And it escapes me, but.
Maybe like the Champions Club seating?
Yeah.
Somebody told me that. Yeah. I'm like, guys, that ship sailed 10 years ago. People are not going to be sitting in those seats. That's just how it works.
Offensively, what was the more pressing, illuminating exchanges? Was it talking about Jordan Travis and the fact that they figured out probably later on in the game that they were going to have to rely on him to run the football, or, part 7 of us talking about how unique it is that they continue to rotate these guys on the offensive line? And, I don't know how much of that is by necessity in terms of, matchups, favorable things they think they have, or just, as Jordan said, Maurice was hurt at one point. Robert Scott has not been right. Darius nicked up a few weeks ago. I wonder how much of this is it health at this point now, or is it continuing to be, we just like what we see out there and keeping bodies fresh?
Well, he did say that it was, he pulled Dimitri off the field after he got a hold, and he acted like it wasn't like punitive, like, if you get called for a hold, you're coming out of the game. Although he could do that when he's got a rotation like this. He said he wanted to talk to him about what happened. Why did he do it? And he's like, I just grabbed too high. I got confused, or he twisted when he wasn't supposed to, or something. But I got a little confused, and just when I tried to block him, I reached up too high and kind of spun him a little bit. But he just wanted to hear the reasoning in the moment, I guess, is why he pulled him off the field. But yeah, look, man, it is what it is. This is what they're going to do. So I know he gets asked about it every week. And he still keeps giving entertaining, informative answers because it's Alex Atkins. But I think next week he might just be like, guys, really again? Like, this is just what we do. Do you ask, Dugans about rotating in the receivers? Like, it's just, this is what we're going to do. And it's unique. Nobody else in the country is really doing this. But it's just what Florida State is doing in 2023. I thought Atkins is always so good about Jordan. I love the way he talks about Travis. Because Norvell always Norvell says that Jordan is had a remarkable game, but I love Mike Norvell. I love what he does for this program and letting us watch, but he says everything is remarkable. Alex just kind of is, to me, kind of breaks it down a little more. And basically he said, look, this is Jordan Travis's offense. When I asked him about running, I basically, the question was like, I don't know how I phrased it, but how much better are you guys as a running team when Jordan Travis is running the ball? Like that it doesn't seem like a coincidence that you finally started running the ball and getting success on the ground, not just from Jordan, but the running backs too, once 13 started keeping it. He's like, well, yeah, it kind of goes without saying. Of course, when the quarterback can run, that's another weapon. It's another half that they haven't accounted for. And he's like, but Jordan, this is all Jordan's offense. This is all Jordan's baby. And Atkins and Norvell both said basically they thought that was something they might use against Duke. And I think Norvell even said it was something that he thought they would wait until the second Have to use. So maybe it was all by design. I feel like you can run earlier than that, but it was all by design, and it worked out. But yeah, it was. It's. I wouldn't say there was anything like newsy that came out of the press conferences, other than I guess Johnny and Destin and their health for this week and moving on. But just more talk about how good Jordan is, and that this team is still 7-0 and undefeated.
MyBookie.ag promo code is Warchant. Use that when you sign up for the first time. Get an instant cash deposit bonus. You can bet on anything, anytime, anywhere. Live betting, in-game, live casino, futures, all these things still available. Believe it or not, Corey Clark, Jaden Daniels has eked ahead of our own Jordan Travis as the third. Well, I mean, Jordan's been fourth the whole time, but apparently now Jaden Daniels has somehow muscled his way in front of Dylan Gabriel, I guess after the – I mean, the LSU didn't even play last week. Dylan Gabriel won. Explain that to me. J.J. McCarthy now the odds-on favorite. Michael Penix second. Jaden Daniels third. Jordan Travis plus 990, and that's a whole different tier. McCarthy's plus 222. Penix is plus 290. Jaden Daniels plus 380. Jordan Travis plus 990. Make it make sense, Corey.
I can't, buddy. I can't. I know I wouldn't put a lot of money on J.J. McCarthy. Anybody can win games when you're stealing signs. When you know what the other defense is going to run, anybody can do that. Let's see what Michigan looks like the rest of the year since they haven't been able to scout these future opponents.
Games later tonight, Louisiana Tech hosting New Mexico State. Louisiana Tech, a 3-point favorite at home. Liberty at Western Kentucky. Liberty -4 on the road against the Hilltoppers. Either of those whet the appetite, Corey? Total points.
No, it's Liberty. Liberty's going to win by more than 4. Come on, guys. Everybody knows this. And, again, if you want to bet with me, that would be dumb. If you want to bet against me, you're going to make a lot of money. So, but do what you want. I'm really thinking that Liberty's going to win by more than 4 points. So do with that what you will.
Bet anything, anytime, anywhere at mybookie.ag. Those picks just for fun. Thursdays when the real ones are made. So tune back in for that one as well. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere at mybookie, mybookie.ag. Corey, on the way out, give me your top 4 right now. Season ended right now. What are your top 4 teams? Give me your playoff picks.
Oh, all right. Number 1, don't tell me what to do.
Hey,
but let's see. I would go.
You want me to go first? Are you not ready?
No, I'll do it.
Okay.
I'd say Michigan.
Okay.
Florida State.
Okay.
Georgia.
Okay.
And Washington.
Okay. Oh, that's boring then.
Well, who are you gonna say?
No, I mean the same stuff. I'd have Georgia 2, Florida State 3, which doesn't really matter.
Doesn't matter either way.
Yeah,
does it?
exactly. Yeah. So
if Florida State can get to the playoff, it's just please don't send us to California.
Well,
please.
If they're not 1 or 4, they're probably going to California, right?
Well, no. Why? What if Michigan's 1? Or Ohio State's 1? Wouldn't they want to go play in the Rose Bowl?
Yeah.
And so if Michigan's 1 and Florida State's 2, then I feel like Michigan's going to be like,
no, you're right.
Well, we want to go to Pasadena, and you guys can go to New Orleans.
Right.
That would be my thought. That would be my thought there.
My thought, I think if Florida State wins a semifinal, I think I've said it before, I think if they win the semifinal, they'll win the national championship. I'm more worried about the semifinal than the championship game.
We are getting way ahead of ourselves, folks.
Are we?
It's cool. Well, I mean, yeah, bud. That's 6 games from now. You still got the Canes on the horizon. You still got the Gators looming out there. You still got the Demon Deacons. You haven't won up there in 6 years since old Auden Tate was catching touchdown passes for you. It has been a minute since you won at Snuggy Hill. So let's not count those chickens yet. They need to win this game, and they need to win big. They need to win big, Aslan. Like, you'll take a 31-29 game. I know everybody would hear that right now and go, gross, what just happened? Wake Forest lost 30-13 to Virginia Tech. Ugh. But, man, you'll take any win. You'll take 1-point wins the rest of the way, right on into the playoff.
What? I feel like you didn't. I feel like 3-4 weeks ago, you're like, it doesn't matter if they would have steamrolled Syracuse more. One of the games, like, it doesn't matter. But now
No, I'm saying it still doesn't matter as far as getting to where you want to go. Win every game by a point.
But why do they need to win? Why do they need to starch Wake Forest? Because
Wake Forest
Who it's
Just because of I am sick of this program never being able to beat this team. Like, this is not Wake Forest last year was okay. And they came in here and got up 28-7 on you. And you're undefeated. Like, how'd that happen? Like, go play well against this team for once. You haven't done it in a decade. Go play well and beat the snot out of this team on their home field. It is allowed. I've seen other good teams do it. And Wake might be on their third-string quarterback. So, yes, you'll take 31-29. Sure, a win is a win is a win. But, man, I would just, for reasons that are probably just personal and specific to me and only me, I would love them to beat them 59-6. Probably ain't going to happen. Nobody scores 59 points anymore. But, man, it would be awesome to see them just pummel Wake Forest.
No.
They're ready for it.
I'm not
the Demon
disagreeing
Deacons
with
are
that.
ready for it. They're ready to get pummeled. They want you to pummel them. Just go in there and take care of business.
They're ready to roll over.
Yes, they are.
Is Snuggy Hill still happening?
Well, it'll still be there. I don't know. It's up to Florida State fans in attendance that go to, I guess, just force your way on there. You know what I mean? Just what are they going to do? They don't have security at that place. They would never need it. So just force your way on the hill. And then, yeah, if they win, hopefully Ira and I can do our Warchant rap from the hill.
Ooh.
That would be awesome. Just sitting down, like laying down in the grass, looking up at you.
I like it.
Yeah, that would be something. So, yeah, no, I have animosity towards Wake Forest. It's not rational. I said 2 months ago, I don't care who they beat this season as long as they beat Wake Forest. So they've beaten everybody else. It's now time to keep it going against Wake Forest.
They can go 8-4 as long as
Yes, as long as one of those 8 is Wake Forest. Absolutely.
Oh, amazing. Hey, real quick on this one. So the Michigan staffer has been identified.
Yeah. How about that name?
Amazing. Apparently, according to public records, he was making $55,000 a year.
Yes.
So he went rogue and was just going and do a guy's making.
Of course not. Of course not. So the story is, because we got it completely wrong when it broke late last week. His name is Connor Stallions, which is the most ridiculous. You know that game where, like, pick your porn name, the name of your dog in the street. I mean, it's
right,
the most ridiculous name in the history of the world. But his name is Connor Stallions, and yeah, as Aslan said, he makes $55,000 a year, and there's proof that he's been to multiple games this year and bought 2 tickets on each side, going to like a Penn State game. Yeah. That's probably not a good example. He went to, let's say, the Michigan State Iowa game. Michigan's not playing. He didn't go there. He bought 2 seats on each side of the field. And there's footage at one of these institutions of whoever's sitting in those seats having their phone record the sideline the entire game. And it went on. I guess it went on in both seats, but there's, that came out, Monday afternoon. And we think that this kid just on his own paid for.
I don't know if he's a kid. I think he's a young man. He's a Marine, man. He's been through.
Maybe he might be 30. I don't know. I just assumed he was fresh out of college, but you're right. We think he just on his own decided, you know what? They love me for the way I can decipher play calls. I'm going to do this on my own. I'm going to buy 4 tickets to every game of all of our opponents and get people and pay people to go record those. Because he's on the side. He's at the Michigan game, so he's not at these other games. He's getting people to record the images for him and then send them to him so he can break them down and figure out what the plays are, which is illegal. Should it be? Should your signs be that? And I don't even know. We don't even know how much it works. Michigan's really good. I don't know if it has anything to do with Connor Stallions, but you're not allowed to go off campus and scout. You're not allowed to do that. It's an NCAA rule. You can look at their game film, see if you can decipher that way. You can't be in the stands as a scout, scouting another team, and that's clearly what he was doing. Now, was he doing it on his own? Maybe, or maybe not.
He looks probably in his 20s still. So
okay. So he's a kid to me either way.
Yeah. All you whippersnappers. Also,
what do you think? You think Michigan? It's probably, look, and I might be overreacting. I think Michigan should get the death penalty. This should be it. Harbaugh should get a show cause for the next 40 years and not be allowed to coach. And actually, I wouldn't have a problem sending him to prison.
No.
That's just me. How do you feel, Aslan? Are you worried about it? Do you care?
Jim's my guy, man. If with Caleb and Southern Cal being out of the mix here, Florida State doesn't win it all. I want Michigan to win it all.
Okay, all right.
Still do.
Even now.
I don't like cheaters though, man. Like I hate the Patriots and not even Deflategate, but them recording the Rams before that first Super Bowl.
Right.
Mangini basically letting everybody know that that's what they did all the time, and even filming like the Jets during the regular season. Yeah, some stuff is hard to overlook, but it's just he's such a sociopath, Jim, that it's almost it's enrapturing, it's mesmerizing that he's pretending like none of this bothers him. But it has to bother him. But he just continues to go out there and his team throttles everybody. So something about that psychotic instinct to continue to be a machine of winning football games is a little bit endearing to me. But
okay,
just me.
Sure.
But
we don't know that he knew. And I know people can roll their eyes, and I'm rolling my eyes as I say it. But there's a chance he didn't know this guy was doing this. This guy might have been looking for an extra edge to make him appealing to this coaching staff so he could get a full-time job and become a real coach or an analyst or an OC or whatever his dreams are in this sport. He thought being able to decipher play calls would give him a leg up, and so he went the extra mile to pay people to go steal signs for him.
I know, but
it's
that
not implausible.
But that
it's
information,
not impossible.
But that information never made it into the meeting rooms, and then Harbaugh never saw like this information, these revelations that were found. So this guy just filmed all this stuff, paid all this money, and then kept it to himself?
No, I would think he'd say, look, when they flash this sign, this is what it means. I've broken it down.
Oh.
You know what I mean? When they do this is what they...
That's plausible. Well, look at you. That son of an attorney right here, everybody.
Yeah,
son
just
of an
say
attorney
it.
right
Prove
here.
it.
Yeah.
Follow the money, folks. $55,000. He might not have been buying those on his own credit card. So let's see if he how he bought these tickets, what account they came from. Then look at his account if they're even allowed to do that.
I wonder how they got caught. Like, how does it even come to?
That's what I'm saying. Like, it must have been so brazen.
Yeah.
And look, man, coaches kind of let other teams get away with some stuff, but it must have been so brazen that the other fellow Big Ten coaches were like, enough of this, man. This is ridiculous. And they do know every play we're running. It's not fair. They do know every play we're running because they're scout. But who knows? Get better signals. Have the quarterback run over to the sideline and tell him to play. Huddle up. Huddle. Then they can't steal your signs if you're huddling.
Public apology real quick. I'll do it in person as well. I was driving to the stadium on Monday, Corey, for the Monday press conference. I was going south on Macomb. Macomb? I think we call it Macomb.
Macomb, probably, I think. But I don't know. It's a good question.
And getting ready to go right on Green onto Pensacola.
Okay.
And there's a young man at the corner of Macomb and Pensacola, and he too is trying to go southbound on Macomb, but I'm going right onto Pensacola, and he's on a scooter, and he's having trouble maneuvering his scooter, and the light's green, and I'm about to turn right, and I'm about to hit him. So I hit my horn, like I don't lay on my horn, but I do like a little chirp, 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 like, hey man, look at me, like what are you doing? You're gonna kill yourself. And the he's got a ridiculous mullet. I'm like, look at this idiot. And then he stops and he turns around. He looks at me, and he's like, "I'm going."
Where this is going.
He's like, I'm going." And it was our guy Alex Mastromano. So I'm sorry, Alex. It was my fault. Like it was green.
What was he doing wrong?
I didn't know he was going to go or not. Like I was slowing down because I'm turning right, so I wasn't going to blow through it, even though I had a green light. But like he started maneuvering down into the street almost, but then he veered back onto the sidewalk.
Gotcha.
So I thought he was like going to figure out how to ride a scooter before he would proceed. But then he veered back down into the street, and I'm about to pull in onto Pensacola, and I'm like, what are we doing here? But it's my fault because he had a green light as a pedestrian. Yeah. It's his right of way, which if I see him at practice today, I'm going to go on my way and be like, I'm sorry about that, Alex. I didn't mean to. But
did he know it was you?
I don't know. He kept it really cool. He had cool composure. Like, and I wasn't road rage Aslan. I was just like, hey, like, what are we doing here? Like, I almost hurt you. Like, move. But I'm sure, like, we locked eyes. So I'm sure if I see him at practice later today and I look at him, he'll probably be like, this jack off.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be like, Alex, sorry about that, man. You were right. I was wrong.
And you were in a hurry. Explain to you were in a hurry.
Yeah.
And he was also going really slow and doesn't need to be on a scooter.
He doesn't need to be on a scooter. Come on, Alex. We got plans, man. We got playoffs.
Yeah, you're trying to win championships here. You can't be crashing on a scooter.
Yeah. Although, hey, last time a guy on a Florida State team, scooter accident, things worked out all right for the team that year.
That's right. The bus was worse off than O'Leary. The bus wore that.
Oh, man. Incredible. All right, let's go to practice, Corey.
Let's do it.
Jeff Cameron Show. Well, I checked that. Check that. Seminole headlines. Seminole headlines coming up 1 to 3 o'clock. Tune in. Get involved. Go to warchant.com. Plenty over there. Corey's column, as he mentioned, 321 by Ira, I think should be up by now. Maybe we won't have one. Maybe we'll save one for the Wake Forest game out. See how that goes. Nonetheless, thanks for listening, everybody. He's Corey. I'm Aslan. Thank you for listening to Wake Up Warchant, presented by the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.